to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we're unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We're streaming on all social media platforms, including YouTube at Keys to the City. New shirts, we're getting new hoodies, sweatshirts coming in, falls coming in, so we're going to be trying to get new apparel. Anybody wants us, let us know, message us. They want us.
They want us, Trev.
They always want us. They always want the Keys boys, but we are back. What a Sunday. 1 week ago, it was an amazing start to the season. 1 week later, tragedy. All over the league. We're going to get into all of this. This is a football Monday, a football Monday, whatever you want to call it. We will talk about baseball at the end of the week. The Lakers come out to a huge 2-0 lead with Anthony Davis going Kobe. I love it. And the Yankees clinched last night, so we'll talk about that as well in the end of the week with Joseph Aguirre, and he will be joined with us in a few minutes. But every year, everything you do, you have expectations, right? You have for jobs, relationships, car, and just anything in life, you always have expectations. Well, coming into this year, as a Giant fan, I had not high expectations, but I had expectations that were better than previous years. And if Joseph Aguirre wants to join us as well, as usual, just come on in. I had expectations for this team, this Giant team, in the sense of you have a new coach, the way of his style of play, and just his mantra, the way he handles things. I like it. The no BS. It wasn't like Shermer. It wasn't like McAdoo. It felt different. You get Daniel Jones. You get Saquon back healthy. You get all these nice weapons. No matter what you want to say, the Giants do have some nice weapons. Slayton, Ingram, Shepard, Tate. Those are 4 good weapons. And then you got Barkley as well. You added Deion Lewis. But we all came in, expectations, not playoff-esque, but we would say there was more hope than previous years. So we come in yesterday, and I expected big things for Saquon Barkley. And it's just tragic to see a player of his magnitude, the talent, to see him go down. It's just it's sad.
What, the first time or the second time?
Well, the second time is the ultimate one. It's not the first one. Yeah, the first one he had a freak thing, and then he comes back in. It's just we all have expectations. And seeing this happen, I don't know what to make of how the Giants handle this situation going forward. It is official that Saquon Barkley has a torn ACL and will miss the rest of 2020. But we can also talk down the line in a couple minutes of how this affected how preseason and how COVID ultimately played another big part in the NFL's plans. And this is not just because the Giants. We are Giant fans, and we're going to talk about the Giants. But you got to look around the league. Christian McCaffery, now out for a couple weeks. Michael Thomas went down last week. Jimmy G. Oh, not to mention Nick Bosa as well. He's out for the year.
Raheem Mostert and Solomon Thomas all for the 49ers. 4 guys.
There was, and if I have the list, if I can find that list, there's a huge list. Courtland Sutton, Denver Broncos receiver, out for the year with the torn ACL. So you see this game.
Drew
Lock is another one that's out. And I'll get into that question in a few.
Listen, you can go to Paris Campbell from the Colts.
It's just on and on. But we are Giant fans, and I want to start with this. And I'm getting sick and tired of everybody on Twitter. And me and Ted just got into it right before the show that made Joe crack up because, well, this is a passionate topic. I've seen everybody, typical Giant fans, loser Giant fans that just want to say, I'm done with this team. Get rid of them. They're done. Fire Gettleman. Fire everybody. Get rid of Saquon, Daniel Jones. Shut up. And we talked about this yesterday. Everybody that still wants to keep talking about the Saquon pick to this day, just get over it. I'm sorry. Stop with the Sam Darnold comparison. Stop with all of that because those New York Jets too, yeah, all the great Sam Darnold, we've been waiting for him to glow in this league. Well, yeah, he's really taken a step forward. I'm sorry. If you're a great quarterback, you still make things happen. He hasn't. That team is atrocious, the worst team in the league, and the Giants are a better team, Ted, but that's for another couple minutes. We'll get into that. I want to get in with you guys because we're all Giant fans. We're all frustrated. We start off 0-2 again. Other than 2016, the New York Giants, since their Super Bowl run, have started 0-2. And the sad thing, yes, look at that. Since they had 11 wins in 2016. Since then, there's your stat. 12 wins. Now you think they have all the right things going forward. And then yesterday, they still had opportunity. This is why I get mad when people say the Giants suck or this and that. The Giants still had a chance to win the game, guys. And the final play of the game. For how bad?
Yeah, but I think that speaks to how bad the Bears are.
But this is also the fight that the Giants have with the Joe Judge attitude. This is because this team never gave up for 60 minutes. They didn't give up for 60 minutes. I know they are 0-2. I get that. They tied with the Eagles now in last place in the NFC.
The Bears are not a good team. If you watch that game yesterday, you realize the Giants are not a good team. And I know you could say, listen, it doesn't matter. A bad win's a win. A win's a win's a win's a win. Doesn't matter how you get it. They're not that good. They are not good. They cannot get pressure on the quarterback. Their secondary, you're going to see, I was reading on Jordan Renan's column, Giants are going to make some changes in the secondary this week. They're speaking volume. Certain guys got out snap. It's still an issue. Giants can't run the football, even though it was funny, though. Deion Lewis had better better success. He had better success than Saquon. I don't know what that means. Maybe because Deion Lewis is 5'8", 185 pounds, so he can squeeze through the little peephole that the Giants leave. But I just wanted to talk about Saquon for a second because I know you were. I just want to put my thing. So I remember we were watching the game, sitting right here. Saquon goes, oh my God. I watched his elbow. I'm like, oh, he dislocated. I knew it. They said he didn't dislocate it. I'm like, oh, he ain't coming back. He's going to be out. We run a play, end of the quarter. Next play, Saquon. Just being Saquon, never giving up, running hard. And one of those freak things, sometimes you don't even need to be touched. Knee buckles, ACL. Giants fans' biggest nightmare, Halloween comes early. It's just sad because that was the first time in 2 years that Daniel Jones had every single weapon on the field all at the same time. Saquon, Evan Ingram, Golden Tate, Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard. And guess what? 2 of them didn't even make halftime. Sterling Shepard, again, gets hurt with a toe injury. What else is new? The guy can't stay healthy. Love him. Loved him when he played for Oklahoma. He's going to be up there a guy that the Giants are probably going to have to ship off after the season, release him, do something with him. Saquon's injury, you know it's a year injury. Hopefully, you know this type of guy. He's like the Adrian Peterson, Movado. He's going to come back stronger, faster, bigger. That's what we expect. The problem is, will the Giants be better? It's the same story over and over. We want to make excuses for them. Oh, they don't have this. Oh, they don't have. When are we going to get over the hump? When are we going? Here's the thing. I can lose and lose good. We don't lose good. We lose bad. We don't look good. There's a certain way of watching the game, and people are like, oh, they just stink. No, because you don't understand football. You just see. Because you don't understand the intellect of blocking and schemes. And there's another team on the other side that's trying to prevent you to score, or they're trying to score, and they work just as hard as you during the week. That's what they get paid for. But this team, 2020, the Giants, we have to have a little hope, right? We had a little hope. We were thinking, okay, this team's not going to make the playoffs, but maybe we can make at least a run 8-8. We'll show improvement. Week 1, couldn't run the football, but we're like, hey, listen, they played hard. All right, it's a fighting chance. No preseason. We'll get better. Second week, they looked worse this week, I thought, than last week. I really did. I thought they showed more effort and more heart this week in week 1 than they did in week 2. And they played a better team. Well, they played a team that's probably going to be
one of the best teams. I mean, Luke coming back down 17-0, and Joe, I'll get you in a sec. I'm sorry that you're just sitting there. But you got to know, losing your best player to an injury like that could bring down a team. The way they fought back, I know they lost. I know they're 0-2, but the way they continuously fought, like previous years when they had McAdoo, they just quit. Like, they were a bad team. And you came out right before the show telling me that they are one of the worst teams. I do not believe they are one of the worst teams in the league.
They're one of the 5 worst teams in football right now.
Okay. But
don't say okay.
Okay. I said okay.
Are you agreeing?
No, I said okay.
They're just not the worst team.
They're not the worst
team. The other team is across the
Joe, the question is, and it's the main question because we've been talking about this whole year. Running backs been getting paid. Dalvin Cook, McCaffery, Kamara, some of the big names in the league. Tariq Cohen actually just got an extension too from the Bears. Here's where the question starts to swirl. The rumors start to go. The reports. What do the Giants decide to do with Saquon Barkley? And if they do continuously have him, will he ever find success in New York? And Joe, I'll ask you if you want to chime in. Please be my guest.
Well, of course he will. This team is only going to get better. And I agree with Ted. I mean, I think they're awful. I thought that week 2 definitely was not the step forward I was hoping for after week 1. I mean, give the Giants some credit for staying in the game, but the game was over anyway. And the Giants, and I've been saying this for a while now, I think the Giants' biggest problem is they're in loser mentality mode. They can't close games. I mean, they get close a lot. And unfortunately, there's no reward for getting close.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love the fact that the Giants don't generally get blown out, but you got to start winning some of these games. You got to find a way to win. And without Barkley, the task at hand has just gotten insurmountable. I mean, I think there's no way the Giants don't finish 3-13. I think this year is definitely going to be a lost year for the Giants. Hopefully you get a high pick and you do something. They definitely got to fix this offensive line. It's a disaster. I mean, your game plan for this season was to run the football, get Saquon more involved. I mean, everything is behind the line. He's getting hit constantly. The Giants are a mess right now. Obviously, the secondary needs help.
Help a new coaching staff and a new personnel. Listen, for people who say, "What's your thoughts on Joe Judge?" I like Joe Judge. I like his whole mentality. I like his whole persona. But you got to be realistic. This is a team that's been, Joe, you just said it, bad, and not bad for 1 year, not bad for 2 years, bad for about 5 years. All right, they've had loser mentality written on their doorstep, and they don't know how to sweep it away. And I don't know what it is because I don't think it's completely personnel. I think Giants have decent personnel. I really do. I just think you can have great personnel, but if you don't know how to win, you know what I mean? Like, I'll use the reference in baseball, the Rays, right? You look at them. Where is their great personnel, right? They have good pitching, but there's no superstars, but there's a mentality of winning down there. They know how to win. Why can't the Mets win, right? You look at the Mets, are like, they bring this superstar and this. Why can't they win? It's a mentality. It's a whole persona. I like Joe Judge. I think he will eventually be successful. Joe, I do agree. I think the Giants, you look at the next 3 weeks. Let's be realistic. The 49ers are going to beat the Giants next week, even with the team that they're going to put on the field. I truly believe that. Now, can I be shocked? Hey, listen, that's why they say anything can happen on a Sunday. But you look at the 49ers next week at 1 o'clock. Then the week after, the Cowboys come in. The Cowboys will probably win. They're the better team. I don't know how they won yesterday, but beyond the point. And then you play the Rams. And the Rams look great. The Rams look like a team from 2-3 years ago. So you're talking about an 0-5 start, and it's like, here we go again.
Possible.
And if you look at the schedule is not easy. And we've talked about the Redskins. They bring a front seven that
is nasty.
It's
very good.
I just hope Daniel Jones doesn't get killed either. Because you don't want to – we always talk about this. You don't want to ruin a young kid's mentality in the pocket. You don't want to already set that fear in his eyes.
Here's the questions that I saw on Twitter all night, and people were maybe more for the Jets, but not for the Giants. But if the Giants were a top 2 pick or the number 1 pick, they got the worst team, would they seriously consider drafting Trevor Lawrence? I do not think you need to at least give Daniel Jones 3 solid years. Give him 3 years and see what he's made of. He's not going to have his number 1 weapon now this year for the entire year. We have to see what he's made of.
That's not a bad take, though, because think about it. If you had – and this is the way we look at it. I'm cutting you off because I'm going to ask Joe in this.
Just go.
Be quiet. Don't tell me to go.
Just go.
Andrew Luck comes out of the draft. Peyton Manning comes out of the draft. This is the where we look at Trevor Lawrence. Now, you could say, listen, he hasn't done anything yet in the NFL, but we give these accolades. If Trevor Lawrence or an Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning sitting there, we question the Daniel Jones pick. You questioned it. You screamed. You were on the phone, literally on video. What are we doing? If Trevor Lawrence is there, do you not even maybe think about it and flip Daniel Jones for a draft pick? Somebody might take him, or do you say best man competition wins?
I think you have to give at least Daniel Jones a solid 3 years. I mean, he has the tools to be a good quarterback. He has the mobility. He's got the arm. He's got to work on his mechanics still, but he's still a young quarterback.
He makes too many mistakes, Trevor. You can't say that anymore. Kyler Murray's in his second year.
Okay.
Guys, we talk about this all the time in the NFL. You don't get that 3 years anymore.
Okay, and Baker Mayfield's in his year.
Good, he's garbage.
Okay, but my point is you don't listen to yourself sometimes. You just go. You just say whatever. You got to sometimes give year 3. You got to give him at least 3 freaking years.
You can't afford in New York.
Well, you're gonna have to. If you're gonna go back, you're gonna go draft another quarterback. Now it all depends on if the Mariners say Gettleman, it's over with. The experiment's over with. I mean,
Joe Judge
and then
didn't draft
and then they get a new GM, and then what happens there? All in all, you see Saquon. This is on the makings of, and I hope to God it's not. I hope he comes back better than ever. I mean, right now, could this be like a Derrick? I saw a picture. Is this like a Derrick Rose situation with Chicago? I mean, Derrick Rose, we know how great he was. We know how he was going to be the savior of Chicago. It was amazing. MVP, looking like a Hall of Fame career. You know what happened to Derrick Rose. I mean, he's still playing. He's still very well. He's a good player in the league, but he never was that superstar just because of the injuries. Is Saquon on the verge of being that right now? He gets hurt last year with the leg injury. This year, it's the knee injury. I mean, he's so talented. All we ever heard was this guy's built like Tarzan. He does everything perfect, it seemed like, when he got drafted. So to see him now, all of a sudden, have two major injuries, leg injuries, mind you, are we on the verge of seeing maybe a Derrick Rose? That is TBD still. But right now, I don't know.
Joe, one of our guys just said, why do they have to give him 3 years? If it's not working, time to move on. This is not the way.
Is it Daniel Jones' fault?
No, it's no one's fault. But we saw Joe Burrow the other night with no help, throw the ball 61 times, no picks, make plays. What's the excuse there? There is none. He's making plays. He looked like the better quarterback.
We were just going. Hold on, but here's my point about that. We were just going nuts about Daniel Jones last year. Like, he was like, oh my God, this guy had 4,000. I think it was close to 4,000.
He's going to have this whole year to finish out, and we'll see.
He had 24 touchdowns last year, 12 picks. I know he had the fumble problem, but still, he had something we haven't had in a long time, which was a quarterback that could move out of the pocket, make plays with his legs, and now all of a sudden we want to dump him after a game. That's my point. We have to wait and see.
Not dumping him after the game. Let's see how the season goes.
We have to wait and see. Like, this whole team as a whole needs work.
Yeah, but let's be honest. This season and its performance just got much more difficult if you're Daniel Jones.
Again,
you got to go through the next 14 games without your best offensive player, and the guy that you built your entire offense around, expecting he'd be a healthy contributor. And to be fair to Saquon, I mean, he did rush for 1,000 yards despite all the time he missed last year. And knowing him and the way he works out, he's going to come back in 2021 and be all the better for it. I still think he's going to be a great player. I think he'll be better than what Derrick Rose is to the NBA. So I'm not concerned about that. I would be concerned, though, if the Giants, and I said this a while ago, if the Giants go 3-13, Gettleman's gone. And you could certainly consider the idea that they could draft somebody like a Trevor Lawrence. But that really does sort of hit the reboot on this 3-year rebuild time frame we've already been in. Again, if you were to go out and draft a Trevor Lawrence, I think, again, you're sending the wrong message to free agents. The Giants certainly... The Giants certainly haven't done themselves any favors, and I just don't think that this is going to help. I think Daniel Jones has a lot riding on the next 14 games. He's really got to show that he's not Sam Darnold, that there is some improvement, and he's going to have to do it without Saquon Barkley on the field. So we'll see what he's really made of.
It'll prove even more so that he is the guy, because he had to do it last year when Saquon was out, and now he's got to do it for a full season. Now, Trev, you were telling me before the show the Giants are bringing in possibly Devontae Freeman. They had a workout in today with him. So
he's
nice back at mixing.
I wouldn't mind having Devontae Freeman, but behind that offensive line, I don't care what running back you are. I mean, it's going to be a struggle. I mean, just look at Saquon. Deion Lewis played well last week. Wayne Goldman was out, so they only played with one running back yesterday against the Bears. We saw what they did against the Steelers. Bears have a good defense. Having Akeem Hicks does make a major difference for the Bears style. They even said,
yeah, well, he was hurt last year.
Exactly. That's my point. He's nasty. And now next week, you got to play the 49ers, a different 49ers defensive line now, with Bosa going to be out for the year, and now Solomon Thomas going to be out, and even Jimmy G. And just to see the Giants start off 0-2 again, it's frustrating. It's become routine. It's become a routine for us.
You start 0-2.
Literally, it's become routine for us, so it's not a surprise. So I can't sit here and be pissed off. Like, it is what it is. We're 0-2 again. It's a struggle.
It's almost expected as a fan.
All right. Hold on a minute. So we talked about this game. I told you how I felt where the Giants stood going in. Trevor particularly didn't like my response. I got torn up on my podcast jawing about the G-men because, again, I thought the Giants were going to lose a game.
I don't know.
And
We didn't pick the game, but I thought the Giants could win this.
We talked about it. I said there was no way they could win the game, and again, I think you're going to see the Giants be in games all season, like they were last year, like they were the year before, and they just don't finish. They don't finish, and not only do they not finish, but they always. Is it any shock that yesterday's game ended on an offensive pass interference in the end zone? I mean, that's just the way it's been going for the Giants. If it would have been the opposite, if it would have been the other way around, you know what would have happened? The Bears would have caught the ball in the end zone for a touchdown as time expired, and we would have lost that way. The Giants just find ways to lose.
The Giants have a 19-play drive. What happens?
Hey, look, I'll say this too, Teddy. I mean, their last 3 drives were all like 10-play or more drives. I mean, the Giants certainly got it together for whatever reason with Dion Lewis in the backfield. They looked, I mean, what the Giants did in the fourth quarter was much better than what we saw in the previous 7 quarters for sure. I mean, you look at the first half.
That's got to be a credit to Joe Judge.
Jason Garrett, and
that's got to be a credit. This coaching staff, I like this coaching staff. I really do.
We just don't have defensive. We don't have defensive personnel. Let's be honest. We don't have
playmakers on defense, and that's where everybody's going to go nuts and say, "Oh man, that Washington game." I mean, it's over with. It's in the past. We could have had a Chase Young. It is what it is. It's over with. The offensive line has been decimated for years. The Giants needed offensive line. That's still. He's played. Andrew Thomas has played well. I'm not saying Andrew Thomas. We'll talk about the other 4
Once
guys.
we get Xavier McKinney back later in the season, that'll help in the secondary.
All I know is it's a frustrating start to the season. Once again, it's tragic to see Saquon go down. You never want to see a player of his talent go down. We have to see with him. It's going to be a question that's going to go for a while now. What are the Giants going to do with Saquon? Is he ever going to succeed in not just the NFL, but in New York? You got to think about that. I know we talk New York, but also the NFL. Is he ever going to succeed in the NFL? So do I. And then we don't know how it's going to pan out for him. We don't know how it's going to pan out for Daniel Jones. All in all, the Giants are 0-2. They got to go to the drawing boards, and they got a big week against a team that's very vulnerable right now. It's a winnable game. I'm not saying it's like last week. It's a winnable game.
Well, they're all winnable in theory.
You're playing Nick Mullins. This team is decimated with injuries now. It's a possibility. I'm not saying they're going to win, but it is a possibility.
You want to put 3 sandwiches on it?
No, I'm done with you. Talk to Ted about that. Start betting Ted. You might have a better shot.
Listen,
real quick, let me just point out this too. Look, 5 of their first 7 drives were 4 plays or less. The other 2 were both 7-play drives that ended in punts. If the Giants can't stay on the football field and get first downs and move the ball a little bit, and look at the Bears came out with a 12-play drive.
And the Giants go 3-0.
Yeah, and the Giants come right back with a 3-and-out. Here you go, defense. Get right back out there and get your butt handed to you some more.
Jones fumbled, and the defense held him to a field goal. So the the defense.
Bravo.
I know. They played for 60 minutes full. I know they're 0-2. It is what it is. They're not the New York Jets, and they are certainly not the Atlanta Falcons. Just remember that. I mean, what a crazy week in general this Sunday that past Sunday was. The injuries. Now, I want to bring up this question because, well, this was one of the hot topics. Everybody says, oh, who cares? It's not a big deal. Well, it's starting to look like it. The play really showed its sloppiness. And like week 1 was very impressive for me. One of the better week 1s I've seen, and especially in a year that we're dealing with this pandemic still going on. You can't really
do positive tests in 2 weeks. That's got to be the most positive
There's
thing.
Still no positive test, which is a great thing for the NFL. But this is where the whole COVID thing impacts the NFL. They're playing, but this impacts the NFL because there was no preseason. And for everybody that says, oh, preseason's not important, well, just look at the list of players that are going to be out.
Guys still get hurt during preseason.
Yeah, but I know that. But when you don't have preseason, you're seeing the play on the field. You're seeing the biggest names of big. I know the quarterbacks, knock on wood, haven't gone down, but some of the bigger names, offensive players, are gone for the year.
Offensive defense. I don't think I've ever remembered.
So did lack of preseason games have they led to this storm of injuries.
I think so.
Think about this. Think about guys who hold out for training camp and historically how they perform in the season. And I don't think this is any different. I think when you don't, and again, I said this on your show the other day, look at the quarterbacks who have been successful. It's guys that are in systems that they know and they're comfortable with. Yep. We kind of knew advantage was going to be on the offense. And again, I think you really see the highlight of quarterbacks who are in systems that are built for them or that really know the system are the guys that have been performing like crazy. And I think you're going to continue to see that. But yeah, I mean, not having a preseason has been bad. It's been tough on play. I think it would have done wonders for the Giants to get a couple of preseason games in there. It really would have helped, especially they could have seen how bad that offensive line was and the fact that they really couldn't move the football, because I'm sure in practice things are probably going great.
And I'm glad you said the whole system thing, because you got to look. There's a lot of new faces and new places. The Giants get a new head coach. A bunch of teams got new head coaches. That's all time away, and you got to know that with this whole pandemic, they were staying away. You couldn't. You had to see everything like this. Like Joe, I haven't seen you since March. We are in September. Yeah, it's been over 6 months since I've seen you. This is the only way we've been able to see each other is by virtual meetings or shows or just texting, messenger. That's it. I haven't seen you in person. So you got to also put that into perspective or add that as a reason that these guys, all they could do is work out from home. Sometimes they could go to the weight room when it was allowed.
You know what's funny? You didn't see any major injuries during training camp. You know, usually in a normal preseason, but you always get a couple of those freak injuries. You didn't hear many injuries through the COVID practice. And I don't know if that's because of the way preseason, but I do agree with you, Trev.
Well, hold on.
And I want you that if they had 2 preseason games, I think the Giants, speaking formally as Giant fans, the Giants would have been able to see things that they're seeing now ahead of time.
The Giants would have benefited from having a preseason because they had a new
veteran teams didn't need it. Veteran teams like the Saints
new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new head coach. You're getting all your weapons back for the first time that you can finally use them. So, and you had a younger defense. You got to get you just got a rookie left tackle. What's your first pick? Got to get him ready, right? So the only way that these players these teams were participating or playing in any sort of contact was by practicing against themselves.
And think about the teams that are successful right now, right? The Packers 2-0, veteran quarterback, veteran staff. I know
very similar system.
Nothing different. The Seahawks,
nothing different.
The the Chiefs, the Ravens, all teams that are the teams where they probably didn't need preseason. They had majority of their veteran teams they're all on one page.
The only team that has something completely new that is going to work is the Buccaneers because of all the weapons
and the Patriots. I'm going to put the Patriots because there are guys that have opted out, which they had the most players opt out because of COVID. Cam Newton in 2 games has looked MVP caliber play. He's not the MVP, but he's played to that caliber. And I watched last night. You know, we used to complain about his accuracy, but he looked really good for not having any preseason games and coming off of injury.
I mean, how about the Arizona Cardinals? I know they got a nice, sexy toy in DeAndre Hopkins,
but their team is back.
But they have the same system. Kyler looks like he's taking the next step to elite level. And we're going to, at the end of the show, we're giving our top 5 quarterbacks currently in the NFL. I want to know 1 through 5. I want to know who the best quarterback is, and I don't care because it's going to be tough to pick because there is some good quarterback play. But you look at it, it's just McCaffery goes down. Just look at the name and the biggest names going down. Other than quarterbacks, it's just look at Jimmy G, Drew Lock, Barkley, Courtland Sutton.
Think about this. You're a 49er fan. In the first half, you lose your best defensive player in Nick Bosa. Then they bring in Solomon Thomas, who was the number 2 pick out of Stanford. He gets a knee injury. Then Raheem Mostert, after the first play of the game against the Jets, goes for 80 yards. He gets a knee injury. Your starting quarterback, Jimmy G, gets hurt. I mean, those are significant injuries, my friend. And George Kittle was hurt from the week before, so another big key injury for the 49ers. You look at that division in the NFC West, Seattle looks great. Russell Wilson is probably the best quarterback in football.
That division looks great.
The Rams look like back in the Super Bowl talk.
The Cardinals are 2-0.
The Jets are the worst team in football. Let's get that straight, everyone. The Jets are the worst team in football. Okay, the Giants are not the worst team in football.
Thank you.
The The Falcons are the biggest choke artists in the NFL. It's not even close.
Did you see this? If you're thinking,
Yes.
look at that. That's what
Dude,
happened.
I
That's
saw this
what
on the internet. I thought we should share this. If you think your team's having a bad day, just be happy you're not the 49ers. That was a rough stretch of game
I would rather
yesterday.
been the 49ers than the Falcons.
And some of their better
I
players.
would have rather been the 49ers than the Falcons yesterday.
Can we never mention the 49ers again? Or not the 49ers, the Falcons again on this show because they are the ultimate.
I don't.
choke
Oh,
artist.
Joe, that is.
They
gotta
are.
be-
They
that's-
are a choke artist waiting. I could not believe Dan Quinn is still the head coach of the Atlanta.
I don't
Falcons
blame
right
Matt
now.
Ryan. You got to feel bad for Matt Ryan a little bit because he played great yesterday. There was no issues whatsoever yesterday
That's
with
another
his
thing
play.
concerning about the 49ers. I'm glad you brought up
Jimmy
Jimmy G
G
because
again,
that's
right?
his second time getting a leg injury, just like Barkley. And that's a good thing for especially a quarterback that has big money.
He isn't
I mean,
that good.
He's not a great
He's
quarterback.
not good.
He's not a great
And
quarterback.
if you watch the 2 games so far, or the game and a half that he's played, plus the Super Bowl, the head coach doesn't have confidence
No,
in him.
not at all.
Does not have confidence like a Bill Belichick put in Cam Newton, or Kyler Murray in Arizona, or Joe Burrow, who has to throw the ball 61 times in the second game with no offensive line and no running game. That's confidence in a quarterback. That's not confidence when you take the ball out of your quarterback's hand and say, we'd rather run the ball on 3rd and 5 and punt the ball than have to pass it because we're worried about him throwing an interception or just not making a
It's
play.
just definitely unfortunate to see. I mean, this, like I said, week 1 was very impressive.
And you know who else looks like crap?
I'll get
Kirk
into
Cousins, your favorite quarterback. I'm joking on that.
I
Kirk
know.
Cousins, garbage. 3 picks. You didn't even know,
I mean, the Vikings are 0-2, and they don't.
and you had them win the division.
Yeah, my fault.
Hey,
Whatever. I gave him a chance.
And Matt Ryan
I gave him a
and
chance.
Aaron Rodgers is telling everyone to RELAX because they are putting up a show
He's
right
telling
now.
everybody to go screw themselves. He's telling the Green Bay Packers organization as well go screw themselves because guess what? That man is on a mission. He looks impressive, and that's the good thing about this NFL season right now. The quarterback play has been great, but the injuries, how is that going to impact going forward? And we're only in week 2. That's the problem. We're only in week 2, and the names that went down and some of the names that are out for the entire year are some of the biggest in the league. It's frustrating.
And
to
you know
see.
it's going to only
It's
gonna
just frustrating
make
to
bad.
see because just to see football back and somehow COVID had their impact. May not be because of they're playing. They're playing. Sorry, COVID, you didn't win that one. But you're winning the battle with that sense of these players going down, not having preseason. It's showing on the field. I mean, yesterday specifically really showed. Players have been I have never seen so many dropped balls in games than I did yesterday, it felt like.
That's not
It's
because of COVID. That's because of lack of
it's
concentration.
just lack of, I'm not taking blame in COVID. I'm just saying it's just week 1 was so impressive for me. It felt smooth. It felt like it went well. Yesterday was fun, but just the injuries, it had such a Debbie Downer.
The
for
NFC
me.
East is garbage.
The NFC, yeah. The Eagles, I mean, God, there should be the Washington football team right now should be in first place at still 1-1. That's why the Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Giants all should be 0-2. And the Eagles look very bad. They don't look – Carson Wentz struggled. I mean, he freaking got booed with no fans in the stadium. Just know, remember, Giant fans.
Joe, did you see that?
I mean, they literally
Trevor sent that to me last night. Thank you for
they
that.
literally booed him, and there's no fans. So if you're a Giant fan, just know that these Eagles with no fans still booed Carson Wentz. And Jared Goff, right now, that was a battle. I don't know if that's the first time. Are they playing against one
No,
another?
that's the second time.
The second
Remember they
time?
played in LA and Wentz got hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Wentz
that's
tore his
all.
ACL? That was when
Yeah,
he was
okay.
having his MVP.
Well,
caliber.
Jared Goff, I mean, like I said, the quarterback play is, to me, keeping the NFL, like we always talk about the quarterback position. And I feel like the quarterback position is at such a high level right now that there's about 8 or 9 really, really good quarterbacks in this league that are playing well. Dak Prescott, I mean, an impressive game yesterday, 450 passing touchdown and 3 rushing touchdowns.
First quarterback that
And-
3 rushing touchdowns over 4 yards passing.
It's been the quarterback play is keeping the NFL afloat because of how good that play is. I know the NFL is never going anywhere. I get that. But we need to have these quarterbacks, especially this year. And we've talked about a couple years ago. Remember when they
Matt
had all
Ryan
the
had a
injuries?
huge day yesterday. Aaron
he did.
Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Cam had a great game last night. Kyler Murray. I mean, you could go through the list, and then you look at the teams. You're like, all right, well, did the team win, and how did they perform?
Well,
Like,
even Ryan,
the reason why
look
Dallas
at,
won
look
was
at
because
Ryan Tannehill. I mean, we didn't even bring up Ryan Tannehill. 4 touchdowns yesterday. He looked good. He's been great since coming in as a starter last year.
Minshew didn't play bad.
Gardner Minshew didn't play. I think we're all starting to get the feel of who are the bad teams, who are the teams that are like in the middle, that are not good, or like all right but not great, and then you got the teams that are really good. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but you could separate those in each category.
Well, again,
Joe, I feel like we haven't had you on. I feel like you should just chime in and say whatever you feel, my man. Tell us how you're a big fat loser against Trev.
Well, listen, you've definitely had the upper hand on some of our more recent bets, and that's fine. You know,
I got nervous. I watched it last night on my NFL fantasy app. I got nervous when I saw it was at the 1 yard line. I'm like, oh my God, Joe's gonna win this game.
Yeah,
had no business being in that game.
Can I just say, sign me up for when the Patriots and Seahawks play. Please play them every year, because the last 3 times they've played, it's come down to the 1 yard line. Just know that. Sign me up.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And Cam Newton, it looks amazing right now. He looks great. And all the teams that decided to pass up on him, Bill Belichick's is sitting back in his chair saying, "Oh, you Superman in it?
Are you wearing the hoodie?"
I'm wearing my Bill Belichick hoodie.
Are you a Patriot fan right now?
You just got to have the mask like kind of like on, off. Like
Yeah, did you see that? The
that
mask?
was fun. He don't want to wear.
Listen, let me just say this. You know, kudos to Cam Newton and kudos to Bill Belichick. I told you that Bill Belichick and Cam were going to be good. And I did say he would put up MVP caliber numbers, and he certainly upheld his end of the deal so far. I should have bet a sandwich on that, and that's my bad. But I mean, again, think about this. Dude came into camp as the number 3 guy.
Yep.
Had
to earn his way to first team reps, started on day 1, and has been outstanding both weeks.
And he was a captain, and he got elected captain of the team, which speaks even more volume for a new guy walking in with a persona that comes off as a selfish egomaniac.
2 games in, Cam Newton's definitely got himself set up so far for 2021.
What is the surprising, not storyline, but just most surprising thing you've seen so far from this first early season 2 weeks in the NFL? What would be for you, Joe?
Well, gosh, I mean, the injuries. You guys mentioned the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, goodness gracious, how bad of a team! How'd they get to be so bad so fast? It's almost stunning at this point.
And they scored only 3 points the entire game, so that was just a garbage touchdown at the end.
I'll tell you what, though, and I look forward to us talking about our top 5 quarterbacks, because there's a guy in the NFL who never seems to get the credit for what he does. I don't know what Josh Allen has to do. Maybe win some games, maybe win a division, but 417 yesterday, 4 more touchdowns. This guy's a beast in fantasy. He's a beast in real life. And if anyone's going to strangle this division away from Bill Belichick, it's going to be Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. I think this guy's top.
That Patriot team, I don't know. I know they're 1-1 right now, but that Patriot team with Cam, the way he's playing, the way
they'll win 10,
with the way that offense is moving, and the lack of weapons that they have, the Patriots are going to be a tough out for the next 14 weeks for any team that has to play them. They're going to be a tough out. That division's up for grabs between those two. The Jets are god awful. The Dolphins are still waiting for Tua to take over the reins. But this is the Bills and Patriots division, and it's up for the taking. Both quarterbacks look amazing. Josh Allen, 400 yards passing. Right now, those 2 quarterbacks in that draft class that was supposed to be one of the better classes of all time, Lamar and Josh Allen, by far. Those 2 are separated themselves.
And Baker and Darnold
are in that bottom. And Rosen's just
you can't
poor Rosen is literally in the
because he's never really had a chance. You got to give him a real opportunity.
I'm glad you brought up Josh Allen though, because anytime you throw 400 yards on anybody, you're doing and 4 touchdowns, you got to be doing something right.
He runs the ball too.
He has all the makings of a really, really successful quarterback, a dual threat guy running people over. That could come back to haunt him if he keeps it up, because you don't want to see a guy like him get injured. It's like the Lamar thing, Kyler, Russell, Deshaun. You don't want to see these dual threat quarterbacks getting hurt because they have been they've been so successful and they're so great at what they do that you want to see them continuously be great. You don't want to see anybody get hurt, especially great talent. That's another story. I mean, the Chiefs struggled for part of that game. Only had 6 points for majority of that game.
I know that. The Chargers defense plays them tough every year.
Patrick Mahomes did what Patrick Mahomes does, and that's why the top 5 quarterback is going to be tough because Mahomes. I know Russell was amazing last night, but Patrick Mahomes was just as great when he needed to be at best. They might have the best kicker in the game.
Harrison Butker hit 3 game-winning field goals at the end. First was a penalty. He hit the first one for 51 or 52. Mm-hmm. He had a false start. Mm-hmm. Then there was a timeout. He hit it again, 58. Then he hit it again for the actual game winner. The man could have hit that from about 70.
He might be the best kicker in the game. I mean, Justin Herbert looked very good in his debut. I mean, I hope Tyrod Taylor is okay. Anytime you hear about chest issues, especially right now with
rib injuries.
He said he had chest issues.
It was a rib injury. That's why they say chest.
Okay.
It was a rib injury re-aggravated during warm-ups.
I hope it's nothing serious. That's all. I don't wish anything bad.
Go back to the bench and let the rookie play because he's going to give them the best chance.
If he's healthy, I read this morning, if he's healthy, he will definitely be the starter. They liked what they saw with Herbert, but they definitely they said Tyrod Taylor earned that job in camp for a reason, and they would be more comfortable playing him for now. So if he's healthy, he's a go.
But Herbert did look very hard to take out.
At least if you're a Chargers fan, you got to be somewhat pleased for what you saw for a guy that found out 5 seconds before the game was like, "Hey, you're going in."
I thought it was a joke, by the way. He actually thought it was a joke when they said
it on the game. When the game went on at CBS,
Jim Nantz and Romo was like, "Wait, that's not Tyrod Taylor. Did Tyrod Taylor get pale or something?"
Because when they were sitting with him on the
did Tyrod Taylor get pale? Because I was like, what happened to Tyrod Taylor?
I was watching him sitting on the bench, and it looked like he was like, "Hey, listen, dude, you're getting benched." Because I thought he was like upset, and then you find out like
I hope it's nothing serious. I hope he's all right. Just
how bad a warm up would you have to have if you got pulled?
Yeah,
you're on the field stretching, and the coach is like, "Yeah, I don't like anything I'm seeing here. You're out." That would have been weird. So, but unfortunately, I think he's going to be all right.
I asked myself, why is Kirk Cousins still a starting quarterback in this league? What do I know?
Well, I've always said Kirk Cousins was a bum, and last year he definitely tried to prove me wrong, but he's reverted right back to what I always knew he was. So, welcome back.
Welcome back to the crew.
Welcome back.
And here's the thing.
Welcome back to the middle of the pack, Kirk Cousins.
We didn't even talk about
like that?
We didn't even talk about the Thursday night game, and we're going to get into our last topic of the quarterbacks. You saw on Thursday night the display of Joe Burrow and how he looked amazing, and if that team could just get an offensive line to surround him, the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be good, maybe sooner than we think, because Joe Burrow, I mean, you go 37-61 with no picks. With that offensive line, I know they lost, but still, this team looks like they have hope for going forward with Joe Burrow. Justin Herbert looked good. The league is in good hands with all of these great quarterbacks, but I want to close out because of how great the quarterbacks are and some of the bigger names. It's going to be hard to pick out of the top 5 quarterbacks. Joe, you can start with your 5.
You're going to make me go first?
Do you want to, do you know your 5?
Yeah.
Ted, start from 5 to 1.
Oh, 5 to 1?
No, I don't want to know 1. I want to know 5 through 1.
Kyler Murray at 5. Now, this is who's playing right now and how I've seen the last 2 weeks and how they performed. Kyler Murray is the 5th best quarterback right now playing. I know he's not the 5th best quarterback overall.
No.
But right now playing in football.
Hold on, we got to go.
Because I know how people get.
No, we got to retract their statement then. I want to know, not who's playing, who are the 5 best quarterbacks.
Right now playing.
Not playing. In your mind, who are the 5 best quarterbacks?
No, because then it's different. Right now, Kyler Murray is one of the 5 best quarterbacks playing on football on Sunday. Number 4.
You always make this more difficult.
Number 4 is Lamar. Number 3 is Rodgers. Number 2 is Mahomes. And number 1 is Wilson. What I've seen, Russell Wilson is the best quarterback without a question right now. If he's not the MVP right now, I don't know what the hell you people are watching. He should have no completions. The pick last night was thrown in Greg Olsen's hand like this, and it got picked for 6. Should not have a pick. He should have more touchdowns than incompletions, okay? Aaron Rodgers was supposed to have no weapon, supposed to be old and garbage. He has been tremendous in the last 2 weeks, dominating, okay? Mahomes is just Mahomes. I put Mahomes there. Lamar, I put at 4. I just think he's a product of the running game, and it's no knock. 1 through 5, I could put any of those guys at 1, okay? So if you're going to tell me Lamar's number 1, then good. He's 1. That's fine. And Kyler Murray's number 5. The way he's played the last 2 weeks against the 49ers and against the Redskins, phenomenal.
Joseph, who are your top 5 quarterbacks?
I'll give you my top 5. I got number 5, Josh Allen.
Not a bad. See, right there. I mean,
Number 4, Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Number 3,
Who's he leaving off?
Lamar Jackson.
Oh, boy.
Number 2,
He's going to leave.
Patty Mahomes. And number 1, I've also got Russell Wilson.
Wow, you don't have Aaron Rodgers at all, huh? Why?
Would he be sick?
He would be 6th for me. Yeah, I feel like, I saw a list earlier today where Josh Allen was 10th or 11th, I think. And I think that's somebody has to be off that top 5 for me because Josh Allen's got to be in it. And unfortunately for Aaron Rodgers, and that's I thought about Lamar, but I've just got Lamar because of the dual threat and what he brings. He's got to start winning some games, though, or I'll bump him off this 5 quickly.
Oh, Lamar.
He has all he does.
That's not what I meant. No,
Not-
that came out backwards.
I was like, Joe, what are you saying?
Listen, if
all he
anyone
does is win. He just doesn't win in the playoffs.
If anyone should be off that list, it should be Dak.
That's not what I meant. I meant Dak, and that certainly came out wrong. You got to win games, man. You got to win games. I love Deshaun Watson too, but win some games. You got to win games. Find a way to win games.
The Ravens have won 14 straight regular season games. So
there's
your Lamar. There's your Lamar.
Yeah, he needs to win a little more. He needs a little more.
14 straight regular season wins.
Here's my top 5. So number 5, I actually do have Kyler Murray as well. I love Kyler Murray. He was actually my first pick to be MVP. Then I was like, you know what? I think Russell's going to win it. But those two guys, man, what he does at his height and how he can throw the ball, and he's so fast. He just runs around, and good luck trying to stop him. Number 5 is Kyler Murray. Number 4 is Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is on a mission right now. They look like they're scoring in bunches. They scored 42 this week. Last week they scored 47. They scored 43 last week. So they're at 42.5 points in 2 weeks with a team that lost their number 1 receiver last week. This past week. Don't know how long he's going to be. And Rodgers is just doing Rodgers things. He's a man on a mission ever since Jordan Love became that first pick for them. He's trying to prove everyone wrong. Aaron Rodgers is nasty. Number 3 is Lamar Jackson. I just think he's something that we've never seen. He's better than Michael Vick. So anybody that says, "Oh, we've seen Michael Vick before," well, he's not Michael Vick. He's not Lamar Jackson. Passer. He's a better passer, and he's only getting better. And according to Joe, he needs to win more games. But he's been amazing.
They need to win more games. Everybody should win more games. That's what I want.
Just win, right? You got to win. Hello, you play to win the game, Joe, right? As Herm once said. Number 2 to me is Russell Wilson. I'm sorry. I'm still picking Russell Wilson. I love Russell Wilson. I think he's going to win the MVP. I picked him to win the MVP.
Just picked him second, then.
I know, but I picked him to win. Doesn't mean he's not the best quarterback.
So number 1 is Mahomes.
Number 1 is Mahomes, just because until you defeat the king, can't take him off. Can't take him off his pedestal.
I just would want to know what Russell Wilson's numbers would be if Andy Reid was his coach and he had the weapons to throw the ball around the field like Mahomes does.
Here's my thing about
Seattle. Instead of running the ball 40 times.
And that's why I get nervous with Seattle, because yes, they are great right now. They're 2-0, but every time we see this with them, they're one of the top teams in the NFC. But of that system, the way that maybe they're going to finally give the keys to Russell Wilson and let him just throw and pick everybody apart. But until I see them get out into an NFC title game or even to a Super Bowl, because it's been a while for Russell Wilson, I'm still going with Mahomes. He's the champ. He's the MVP. He's not the MVP, but he's the face of the league. Until he goes down, I'm going to stay with Mahomes. He's unlike anything we've ever seen as well. You can't go wrong with any one of these guys. You can add Josh Allen in there, Dak Prescott. Jared Goff looks really, really good now.
And I like what Steve just wrote. Watson. It's not like he's
and Deshaun Watson, man. I love Deshaun Watson. I feel bad for him just because Bill O'Brien is god awful, and I hope to God he's gone and they get a new coach and a new GM, and just because that guy is way too talented to be being 0-2, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better being 0-3 against a Pittsburgh.
Listen. Look, I got to ask Steve Risser a question, and this is one of those things that I don't understand. How does Deshaun Watson get a pass at 0-2? And I understand he played the Chiefs and Ravens, but your job is to win games.
Yeah, but you can't play all the positions. I
understand that. You can say the same thing.
He did struggle yesterday. He did struggle a little bit.
I wouldn't put him in the top 5. Definitely not, because I mean, I'd be like, they might as well put Brady in the top 5 because it's Brady and he was 1-1. No. He hasn't played. Watson hasn't played to the level of Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, and all the 4 other guys that we had named: Lamar, Mahomes, Rodgers, Wilson.
I'm not ready to put Josh Allen in that top 5 yet either, just because I need to see more of it.
Yeah, but
that's my only thing.
Cam Newton. I did it based on 2 weeks of the NFL season. Who I've seen has been the 5 best quarterbacks in 2 weeks.
I've seen,
and that's why Kyler Murray's in the top 5.
I'm at it from last year and these first.
I don't care about last year. It's what can you do for me now? Well, and what have you done for me?
All those quarterbacks have been.
Because Josh Allen would not be in Joe's consideration if this was part of last year. But when you look at Josh Allen, what he's done in the 2 weeks that he's been the starting quarterback for the Bills this season, he's looked like a much more improved passer and complete quarterback, other than a guy who can just run around for 110 yards a game. He could throw the ball, and he's gotten touched now. He made a throw to Stephon Diggs yesterday on the sidelines. I don't know if you saw the highlight.
Of course I did.
It was unbelievable.
He almost went into the
And what else I liked was it was like a 3rd or 4 late in the game, and instead of running the ball, they went deep and he hit him for a touchdown. That was when they went up big against Miami.
I mean, Matthew Stafford, I'm looking through the comments. Matthew Stafford in Detroit, I mean,
feel bad for anybody in Detroit.
I feel bad for anybody that plays for Cleveland, the Jets, and the Detroit Lions. Sorry, Jet fans, if you're watching, but you guys are atrocious. And anybody that wants to talk junk about the Giants, I know the Giants aren't good, but the New York Jets are an embarrassment. You gave up a 3rd and 31 and gave up a 55-yard toss play. And on the first, they don't even look like they're competitive. It's the difference between losing competitively and losing and looking awful.
And Jamal Adams looks good on Sunday Night Football.
And he finally beat the Patriots, he said last night. He's like, it's good to finally beat the Patriots. The Jets are horrible. They're the worst team in the league. So shut up, Jet fans. You're just like the Mets. You come in with your high expectations, and what happened? At least for Giant fans, we know what to expect since 2012. We expect 0-2. We expect them to not be good. But for anybody that wants to continuously side with Sam Darnold, I'm sorry, but I haven't seen it yet. He doesn't look good. Adam Gase is atrocious. He's along with Bill O'Brien. There's the bad, then there's the ugly, and the Jets are in that ugly trend right now.
The Cleveland Browns and the Jets.
The Cleveland Browns are 1-1. Got to see what they do. Right now, they won. They run the football. They'll be fine. They have 2 outstanding running backs. I mean, we didn't even talk about the Buccaneers. Tonight's the opener in Vegas as well. The home opener should be an exciting
What do you got tonight, Saints? We all on the same bandwagon?
No,
Saints
Joe,
win?
I'm not making a bet with you tonight.
No bets, but Saints.
I know Joe's desperately looking for one right now.
Saints to win tonight?
Oh, yeah, I got it. It's an easy win right there. I would think so. Again, when you're looking at the teams that have been successful, I mean, they're going to score a lot of points.
Where would you put Breeze in your quarterback ranking? Honestly,
I would say, probably for me, I would put, what did I say? Rodgers 6. I probably got Murray 7. I probably put him at like 8.
Would you put Brady in front of him?
No,
would you put
I wouldn't. Not yet. I think Brady's got to like start playing really good football. I mean,
what about Jared Goff? What about Jared Goff?
I got Cam in my top 10. I would put Goff in the top 10, and I would have to bump anybody I haven't mentioned out already then.
Josh Allen, Dak.
No, you'd have to bump Breeze. I don't put Breeze in the top 10.
Yeah, again, I mean, I think Breeze is effective, but again, he's got a great cast around him, and he knows the system, and I mean, it works out really well for him.
3-yard dinks and dunks, and let all the guys do the other work.
We'll see how great he is tonight with his top weapon out.
Yeah, maybe John Gruden will come with something exciting.
I hope Vegas wins tonight, but I expect the Saints to win as well.
I'm very interested to see their stadium after seeing SoFi the last 2 weeks. I'm really interested
to see that home opener, man.
See what
with fans. Can you imagine what Vegas would have been like if there was no COVID? Vegas would have been jumping tonight.
Well, it is jumping tonight. Just can't go in the stadium.
Just can't go in the stadium. Just go to the bars and get drunk, right?
Did anyone see that Red Sox guy, though, sneak into the stadium?
Did you see that, Joe? The crackhead?
Yeah, oh my God, hilarious. Dude, people are crazy.
How the hell did he get up there? That's what I want to know. Hey, that's my biggest thing. Joe, what are you doing? Are you focusing? Are you going back on your top 5 quarterbacks? Oh, I messed up on this one.
I'm really thinking about my list. I really am. I almost kind of want to redo it now because I don't know.
Do I have to give you a second chance?
Maybe.
Listen,
I think.
Let me have a
agree. Would you agree right now, though, that Josh Allen seriously has to be considered in the top 5 the way that guy's playing?
No.
He's played like a top 5 guy, but I wouldn't put him.
Listen, if you want to put, if anybody wants to put Deshaun Watson in that group, but not Josh Allen. I mean, you're getting pretty much the same guys, maybe a better passer compared to a better runner, but I mean, these guys are both getting it done, scoring and putting up big yardage. I don't know what more does he need to do?
So let's see. With the first four, you know who you got. It's Wilson, Rodgers, Mahomes, and Lamar. That's no question the top four. Now, you can make the argument for five. I put Kyler Murray, considering the Arizona Cardinals, who they played and how well they looked. You look at Washington's defense, what they did the week before to Carson Wentz, they were ferocious, and he tore him up yesterday. And then the week before, what he did to the 49ers defense when they were healthy.
How about this?
So
how about
you
this
look
question?
at that, and then you take
Give Joe a sandwich to get him back on track.
I am hungry. I'm not going to lie.
Oh my!
A Snickers might do the trick right now.
My final thing about this: who do you think is the most complete quarterback in the NFL?
Mahomes.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
He can run. He had 3rd and 20 last night. He runs for the first half of the middle. And he makes every throw at all times. He's a younger, more athletic Aaron Rodgers. When we thought Aaron Rodgers was the next big thing.
I thought you would.
And it's not that he isn't.
Russell.
It's not Mahomes. Just because here's the only little difference. I think Mahomes' arm is a little stronger. So those extra throws that not many. There's certain guys that have that arm strength. Josh Allen has that arm strength. Mahomes has that arm. And Rodgers has that arm. That elite arm.
Yep.
There's a difference between having
Kyler
a good
Murray
arm.
has that arm. Too.
I don't know if he has the
Kyler
elite
Murray
arm.
has a very strong arm.
I
But
think
Mahomes
when you're
is
talking about the difference between Russell and Mahomes, I think you're talking about the difference between Joe DiMaggio and Ted Williams. I think you're talking about two guys that have been, doing it just as long, that are just as good.
When the Yankees were going to trade for Ted Williams.
Sure, but right. I mean, I'm just saying. You look at those two guys, and it's like, ooh, very similar skill sets. Russell's been doing it longer. I don't know why that doesn't count. I mean, he's got a Super Bowl as well, so I don't understand why he gets knocked off the top spot by Patty Mahomes, just because Patty's a shiny new toy again.
Yeah.
A couple years in the league, and people want to put him in Canton. They want to get him a gold the gold jacket and everything.
Let me say one more thing for Wilson. If anybody says he doesn't have weapons, DK Metcalf is an emerging star. He's going to be a superstar receiver in this league. Tyler Lockett is a very good weapon. Greg Olsen is a reliable tight end. They have Chris Carson in the backfield. So stop saying that if he had Mahomes' weapons. He has very good weapons, and it's starting to show. Moore as well with that great catch. I mean, he finds ways to get it to his weapons, and they have a good system going with this Seattle. And the good thing is they're letting him throw the ball finally. But stop with the no weapons with Russell Wilson. He has weapons, okay? So he has no excuse not to be in the NFC Championship game. Sign me up for whatever happens. I know some big games this week. We're going to talk about it later in the week. You got the Saints if they win. You got Saints and Packers Sunday night. And then the Monday night game next week. Boy, oh boy, I wish I wasn't working because we get to see Mahomes and Lamar. So we'll be talking about that. And then even Dallas and Seattle is the 4:30 game. So there's a lot of good football coming next week. I think the Rams are playing, I forgot, it's a battle of another 2-0 teams, but the Rams are playing somebody good as well. So right now we're going into week 3 after tonight. A lot of injuries. Sadly, one of the major injuries in the NFL season early on is our Saquan Barkley. We're hoping Saquon comes back better than ever. We're hoping for the best. Get better, 2-6. Plain and simple. Joseph, as always, thank you, big guy.
I wish the Giants didn't suck. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks. Me too.
Thanks, Cal. At least we're not. Like I said, at least we're not Detroit Jet fans or Browns fans. So we'll deal with it. At least we got the Yankees to root for. Yeah, like I said, we'll be back later in the week to talk New York Yankees baseball. We haven't talked much about them, but they clinched. They're staying hot. They finally lose to the Red Sox. I was hoping that they would sweep the Red Sox again. And then we'll talk about my Lakers. I still have some good teams going on. So the Lakers are a couple wins away. They play tomorrow night, and then they can close out on Thursday, depending on what happens tomorrow. So right now, like I said, sports is great. Sports is looking good. Can't wait to see what the week holds for us. But everybody, enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We are streaming on all social media platforms, including YouTube at Keys to the City. You can check us out. And at Cobra Crest Media as well, if you're trying to look and get involved in this type of field, whatever it may be, camera work, behind the scenes, in front of a camera, let us know. Get back to that man, the legend, Joseph Aguirre, and he can help you out with that as well. Joseph, thank you for joining us. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We are out.
Yeah. Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we're unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.